Wouldn't it be weird for me to follow my wife around the house and watch her without speaking or interacting with her? It would be even stranger if she sometimes shouted, "Oh, please help me," and I ran and did the dishes or another chore, but then I ran off without a word or smile. This would not be a very good relationship. However, this is how many people tend to think of God. A common belief is that He watches us live our lives and occasionally will help us with something if we ask enough, or the people He likes the most will get a miracle occasionally. God is more than a bad husband. Like, I interact with my wife throughout the day, and so does God interact with us. God speaks to you and wants you to understand what He is saying. This might seem like a bold proclamation, but it's true. God is speaking to you all the time. However, it would be a mistake to assume that God would only speak to you with an audible voice. Just like we communicate in ways other than words, such as two friends communicating with a hug or a handshake instead of saying "I love you," so does God speak to us without words. Before I explain, let me give an example. One day a few years ago, I planned to go to morning mass before work. While I was eating a quick breakfast before I drove the 45-minute commute, I had a vision of a woman in a white coat with white fur on the hood, dipping her hand in holy water. I immediately understood that I would see this woman at Mass that morning. Now, while some people do have visions with their eyes, I saw this vision in my mind. Still, it was very clear and I could tell that it was not from me thinking, but from God. I went to Mass that morning and I decided to sit in the very back of the church to keep my eye out in case I would see the woman there. Sure enough, right before Mass started, the woman I saw in my vision, wearing the exact same jacket I'd seen, popped into the front row with her husband. I was slightly shocked, but paid attention throughout the prayers as best I could. I was wondering if I should speak with her and what I should say to her when I saw another vision of her holding her stomach and keeling over. I knew this meant that I should speak with her, so reluctantly I walked over to her husband and I asked if I could pray for them after Mass, of course. And they had many admirable intentions, but none regarding her stomach. Finally, I asked about her stomach, and she looked at me with a very shocked expression and explained how sometimes it hurts so bad that she can't eat. I actually never saw them again after I prayed with her, but I believe God must have brought something good for them out of that encounter. It was an incredible experience, and I think about it a lot. It also expresses what I want to say here. God did not give me any words in His communication with me. It was all through images and moments of instant understanding. God often speaks to me with inaudible words. However, He also uses these other methods. Moreover, I have seen Him use these methods with others when I meet with them in our mentorship program. For some, God speaks with words spoken to them in their mind, much like how you would think your own thoughts. However, when God speaks, it is slightly different. Another way God speaks is through moments of instant understanding when someone knows something without knowing how they know it. I have seen this happen in healing prayer where someone is given a new understanding of a hurtful situation to discover God's perspective of the incident and find beauty in it. This is truly remarkable to witness, as I've seen people overcome very hurtful experiences through God showing them this beauty. God can also give people images like a picture or even a little movie to show them various truths for others or themselves. I often get these when praying alone or with others. They're images of some earthly thing meant to be analogies. For instance, one time I was praying with someone and I saw them sitting at a desk trying to organize sand into different places on their desk. After praying some more, we discerned that this meant that God was helping the person to see that he could let go of focusing too much on minute details that do not matter as much. This is such a fun way to pray with people. God can also speak to people through their emotions. People will feel an emotion when praying about something, or even when they are in a certain location. When it has to do with a location, or even if they're around a certain person, this could mean a variety of things. I usually tend to believe that it relates to an emotion that someone else is experiencing or speaks to some other experience that they have had in the past. Something to keep in mind is that all of these are not to be interpreted at face value. When God speaks to you in these ways, it usually is meant to start a conversation about what He has given you. So if I receive a vision from Him, I should immediately assume that I don't know the whole story and need to check with Him in prayer to see what He's trying to tell me. Even if the vision seems very obvious, there are often more profound messages that God wants to convey. For this reason, we should pray through what God tells us and test everything. The second lesson is vital. Sometimes our imagination and excitement for God can get in the way of our hearing from God authentically. For this reason, we need to test and decipher everything we think we receive from Him. If you want more tips on hearing from God, check out our website at zenithministries.com. Or if you would like to receive one-on-one help in this from one of our mentors, you can sign up for our mentorship program to help you grow in hearing from God and how to test what you receive. God truly speaks to His children. He is always thinking about you, and He wants you to know His thoughts. I invite you to listen to Him. If you are wondering how to start listening to Him, you can simply say, "Lord, what do you want me to know?" and then give Him some time to respond. I pray that you hear from Him today and are already growing and finding tremendous grace from this experience and what He tells you.